Yusuf stands defiant, refusing to reveal the locations of the 3 hidden nuclear bombs as the ominous countdown ticks away.
You see, I will tear your eyes out. I will find your lie, and I will break you. You'll be a hero.
Suddenly, the heavy steel door creaks open, dragging in Yusuf's terrified, bound wife. Their eyes meet, a silent understanding of their shared peril washing over them. Helen steps forward, trembling yet firm, arguing that bringing Yusuf's wife into this situation is crossing a line. The lead interrogator dismisses her plea coldly, reminding her that 3 bombs threaten countless lives. As the guards begin to escort his wife away, he takes her life before anyone can react. The room falls silent, and he turns to Helen and the soldiers, his voice chillingly calm as he demands to know where his children are. Let us take a moment to explore the origins of this situation. Stephen Arthur Younger, an American man and former Delta Force operator now known as Yusuf, is in the process of recording a videotape. He pauses and restarts multiple times before finally settling on his final version. On Tuesday, at the FBI field office in Los Angeles, a team is diligently analyzing data on individuals of interest. When Brody, a team member, inquires about their findings, one agent reveals the only lead they have. A flight school reported an Arab-sounding man expressing interest in flying lessons. Brody is not satisfied with this meager information. Just then, another agent approaches her with news from the CIA files he has been reviewing. He has uncovered something intriguing about a man named Henry. Although details about Henry remain classified, the agent notes that his wife is Bosnian and has been linked to dubious activities. In the Humphreys home, both Henry and his wife, Rena, exhibit extreme caution, having installed surveillance cameras throughout their property. Meanwhile, news outlets are buzzing with reports of Yusuf allegedly shooting a police officer and abducting 2 children. The FBI was not previously briefed on Yusuf, but they are now becoming aware of him. Brody recognizes Yusuf's name from their suspect board and insists that his file be retrieved for further investigation. Despite having served in the U.S. Army, Yusuf has no known record of extremist behavior, though his military file remains classified. Brody's superior, Jack, arrives and instructs that every suspect related to the case be brought in for questioning. He assures Brody that she will have all the manpower she needs but refrains from disclosing further details. The FBI arrives at the Humphreys residence just as Henry makes a frantic call to his contact at the GIA, Charles. He warns Charles about the FBI's presence at his door and urges him to facilitate an immediate relocation before hanging up and arming himself for protection. Charles then calls Brody on her personal line, urgently advising her to withdraw her agents from the scene. He reveals that the CIA file on Henry was inadvertently leaked to the FBI and warns that Henry is armed and dangerous. As attempts to reach the 2 agents go unanswered, Brody swiftly dispatches another team to investigate the situation. They approach the house with caution, and upon reaching the doorstep, Henry attempts to de-escalate the situation after noticing the FBI badge. Meanwhile, the 2 agents from earlier have been captured and restrained inside. Henry is taken in for questioning. Displaying an air of arrogance, Henry dismisses the agents as incompetent, proclaiming that they have no idea what they're doing. When asked for his real name, he nonchalantly replies that they can call him H. Just then, Charles and Jack enter the room, interrupting the interrogation. They inform everyone that H is under protection and that the FBI has made a significant mistake. Jack turns to Brody and requests her assistance on a classified mission, to which she readily agrees. The following day, Wednesday, FBI agents are summoned to an abandoned facility that has been repurposed as a black site under military jurisdiction. General Paulson is in command when they arrive, alongside Charles and H, who lightens the mood with a quip about being an independent contractor. Jack presents Yusuf's complete videotape, revealing his chilling ultimatum. He threatens to detonate 3 nuclear devices in the major U.S. cities unless his demands are met, with the bomb set to explode in just 2 days. Paulson emphasizes the gravity of the situation, noting that Yusuf previously worked as a nuclear specialist in Iraq, making the threat entirely credible. While Yusuf has yet to articulate his demands, they disclose that he has been in their custody for 24 hours. As they prepare to take them to see Yusuf in person, Paulson explains that he was apprehended at a shopping mall, suggesting that Yusuf may have wanted to be caught. Yusuf is subjected to harsh interrogation techniques, including cold water exposure, frigid air conditioning, and sleep deprivation. However, H, a skilled interrogator, argues that such methods are ineffective against someone like Yusuf. In a bid to demonstrate his point, H violently strikes Yusuf's interrogator with a large object before being forcibly removed from the chamber and taken into custody himself. Brody enters next and adopts a more compassionate approach, turning off the air conditioning and drying off Yusuf. She implores him to share actionable information, but he merely glances at her watch and states that it's too early for him to divulge anything. Paulson then escorts Brody out of the chamber. She confronts Jack about the legality and potential ineffectiveness of their methods, emphasizing that they are being compelled to assist the military despite their reservations. Brody later asks H about his earlier outburst in the chamber. H explains that military interrogation tactics are futile against Yusuf, who is an ex-soldier trained to endure such pressure. Just then, Charles and Paulson enter and request H's expertise for the interrogation, but H insists on working alone with a partner of his choosing. Paulson asserts that H is not in command of the situation. "You will treat me with respect," H insists firmly, choosing Brody as his partner for the interrogation. Although Paulson disagrees with this decision, the arrival of a senior official overrides his objections, instructing them to accommodate H's request. With a commanding presence, H orders all personnel to vacate the room. He gathers his equipment and asks Charlie to contact his wife, revealing that despite the classified nature of their operation, he only eats her cooking. Seizing the moment, H prepares to showcase his unique interrogation skills. He confronts Yusuf, demanding to know the locations of the 3 nuclear bombs. When Yusuf remains silent, H, driven by a mix of urgency and frustration, violently severs one of Yusuf's fingers with a fire axe. The military personnel and Brody watch in horror, desperate to intervene, but the senior official insists that the dire potential consequences justify such extreme actions. Undeterred, H presses on with the interrogation. Next, they place a plastic bag over Yusuf's head, puncturing it just enough for him to struggle to breathe. H brandishes a knife, declaring that he is Yusuf's worst nightmare as he begins to inflict further harm. Brody, unable to reconcile herself with the illegal torture taking place, storms out of the room. She confronts Jack once more, arguing that their actions violate constitutional rights, but Jack counters with the grim reality that there may be no constitution left if the bombs detonate. Seeking solace, Brody composes herself in the bathroom, where H enters to relieve himself. Seizing the opportunity, she expresses her deep disapproval of his tactics, asserting that inflicting physical pain is not an effective strategy. H proposes a collaboration. She will ask questions while he administers torture. Reluctantly, Brody re-enters the chamber and allows Yusuf a moment of respite. Adopting the role of good cop, she tries to engage Yusuf but quickly discovers that he anticipated their methods. When she attempts to leverage his family against him, mentioning his wife and children, Yusuf remains unfazed, stating that he has 2 days to present demands he has yet to specify. Yusuf promises to reveal his demands the following day. As night falls, H resumes his role as the bad cop, denying Yusuf any chance of sleep while taunting him with threats of breaking him down. "Every man has something he lies to himself about," H remarks, but Yusuf merely grins in response, provoking H's growing frustration. The tension escalates as Thursday dawns. H escalates his methods, introducing electric shocks into the interrogation. At his request, his wife arrives at the facility, prompting him to ask Brody to keep an eye on Yusuf. As Yusuf succumbs to exhaustion and falls asleep, they administer the electric shocks, but the device malfunctions, failing to shut off. Fortunately, they manage to deactivate it just in time. Meanwhile, H savors precious moments with his wife and children, revealing to Brody that he intentionally sabotaged the machine to provide Yusuf with a glimmer of false hope. As this unfolds, the FBI intensifies its search for the potential locations of the bombs and races against time to locate Yusuf's family, suspecting that one bomb is likely hidden in Los Angeles. Yusuf appears utterly defeated, his body racked with pain as his neck spasms. In a calculated move, H asks Brody to massage Yusuf's back while he plays soothing music, recounting a story about his wife's experiences in Bosnia. He shares the heart-wrenching tale of his children's premature birth, and when he inquires about Yusuf's own children, Yusuf crumbles under the weight of emotion. Seizing this moment of vulnerability, H resumes his brutal tactics. Yusuf pleads for mercy, exclaiming that he will talk. Finally, he lays out his demands. He wants the President of the United States to publicly announce an end to support for puppet governments and dictatorships in Islamic nations, as well as the withdrawal of American troops from all Islamic countries. The team quickly dismisses these demands, citing the U.S. government's long-standing policy against negotiating with terrorists. However, H argues that they should consider the offer. It's merely a statement and doesn't require any follow-through. With less than 24 hours before a potential detonation, he believes it's worth exploring. The senior official instructs H to persist with his methods. Brody attempts to connect with Yusuf, but he remains resolute, refusing to divulge any information until his conditions are met. H continues his relentless torture. Meanwhile, the FBI has obtained surveillance footage from the mall showing Yusuf standing there for 23 minutes, fully aware of the impending capture and torture he would face. Paulson voices skepticism, suggesting that this entire scenario might be a ruse and that there may not be any real bombs at all. Determined to confront the truth, Brody enters the interrogation chamber and takes over from H. She accuses Yusuf of orchestrating a false threat of explosion as a means to critique the moral fabric of the United States. Under pressure, Yusuf finally breaks down, confessing that there were never any bombs planted, he never possessed nuclear material. The bombs were nothing more than empty shells. To substantiate his claims, he discreetly whispers an address to Brody, prompting the immediate deployment of troops to investigate. Brody remains skeptical of Yusuf's assertion that it is a mere hoax, recalling that Yusuf had ominously predicted something significant would occur that very day. The search teams discover a room that eerily resembles the setting from the videotape, uncovering crucial evidence on the roof. In a tense moment, a soldier accidentally dislodges a photograph of Yusuf from an electrical switch, triggering a catastrophic C4 explosion in a nearby shopping mall, the shockwave visible from their vantage point. Consumed by rage over the senseless loss of innocent lives, Brody confronts Yusuf, brandishing a scalpel and demanding to know the location of the remaining bombs. Yusuf, having regained his composure, remains unfazed. He coldly rationalizes the tragedy at the mall, arguing that Americans inflict similar casualties daily. He asserts his bravery, claiming he willingly allows himself to be captured to confront his oppressors directly. On Friday, new intelligence emerges, indicating that Yusuf received a parking ticket in Dallas. This leads authorities to a warehouse where they discover a bomb, one that appears to be a functional nuclear device set to detonate at noon, just 3 hours away. The urgency is palpable as they realize it may be nearly impossible to locate the other 2 bombs in time. Despite continued interrogations, H feels despondent, sensing that Yusuf may remain unyielding. Determined, H re-enters the chamber and removes Yusuf's blindfold. In response, Yusuf cracks a smile and winks at him, exuding an unsettling confidence. Meanwhile, the FBI successfully locates Yusuf's wife, who insists she will remain silent until she is reunited with her children. Brody issues a stern warning to her, threatening prison time if she refuses to cooperate. In a desperate bid to leverage the situation, H suggests using Yusuf's wife as a pawn and brings her into the room to confront him. However, mere words fail to elicit a response from Yusuf, prompting H to escalate his tactics by threatening to inflict harm on her right before his eyes. Just as H prepares to carry out his threat, Brody intervenes, commanding the soldiers to remove Yusuf's wife from the room and away from H's volatile grasp. In a moment of sheer desperation, H resorts to violence, slitting her throat and causing her to bleed out in front of Yusuf. The gravity of the situation deepens when H learns that government officials and their families are being evacuated to nuclear shelters in various cities. Time is slipping away, and he understands he must act decisively to extract the information he needs. H approaches Yusuf with chilling resolve, informing him that today will be his last. He emphasizes that there are no boundaries left for him. He has been given full authority to employ any means necessary to extract critical information. Stepping outside for a brief moment to collect his thoughts and take a drink of water, Brody urges H to act swiftly, reminding him that every second counts.
What I have to do, Agent Brody, is unthinkable. Bring me the children.
In that critical moment, H makes a fateful decision. He instructs the soldiers to fetch Yusuf's 2 children, escalating the stakes further in this high-stakes game of desperation and moral decay. In a tense moment away from Yusuf's hearing, H reassures his colleagues that he will not harm the children. Brody warns H that should he lay a finger on them, she will personally ensure his demise. When Yusuf's children are brought in, H makes it clear that their safety hinges on Yusuf, revealing the locations of the bombs. Under immense pressure,
Look at your children.
Don't let him do it. Don't let him. I beg you, please.
Yusuf finally concedes, disclosing 3 addresses, one in New York, another in Los Angeles, and a third in Dallas. Yet, H remains unconvinced and continues his intimidation, insisting that Yusuf must be hiding information about a 4th bomb. When H directly asks Yusuf about the 4th bomb, the latter vehemently denies its existence. In a desperate attempt to save the children from H's clutches, his colleagues burst into the chamber and forcibly remove him. H underscores the alarming amount of missing nuclear material that Yusuf could have accessed, arguing that Yusuf's actions have been meticulously calculated. The highest-ranking official present demands that the children be returned for further questioning. H questions whether he will be able to carry out what needs to be done and receives the green light to proceed. He insists that Brody bring the children back, believing that her moral compromise will provide him with the justification he needs to commit an unspeakable act. When Brody refuses to retrieve the children, H mockingly unstraps Yusuf, pretending to set him free. The top official draws his weapon, aiming it at H to compel compliance. In a shocking turn, Yusuf seizes the official's gun. He implores Brody to care for his children before taking his own life. With a heavy heart, Brody exits the building, leading Yusuf's children away. Meanwhile, the FBI successfully locates and defuses the 3 bombs just in time. Tragically, H's suspicions were correct, there is indeed a 4th bomb, and Brody's adherence to her principles has potentially cost millions of lives. Thank you for watching. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time. Have a nice day.